Okay, class, we're now into Muscle PowerPoint 2. Muscle PowerPoint 2. Muscle PowerPoint 2. So let's go through and see what we have. Review principles of muscle mechanics. Same principle apply to contraction of a single fiber, which is one muscle cell and a whole muscle. So in other words, the same principles that do one cell do the whole muscle. Contraction produces tension, the force exerted on the load. Tension is that force exerted. Okay? Contraction does not always shorten a muscle. Okay? We have contractions we call isometric contractions, constant length. You try to lift a desk that you can't lift. You're pulling up on it. You ain't lifting it at all. But the muscle is getting more and more and more tense. So you're keeping the same length, but the tension is shooting through the roof. No shortening, muscle tension increase without it. An isotonic reaction, you're lifting something you can lift. The tension stays constant. Why? Because you're changing the length. The tension stays constant because you're changing the length. So you're lifting a weight you can lift. Isometric, same length. Isotonic, same tension. Okay? Force and duration of contraction vary in response to the stimuli of different frequencies. We'll talk on that. All right. Let's talk first about a motor unit. A motor unit is one somatic motor neuron, and all the fibers it supplies are innervates. I'm going to use another word here, ladies and gentlemen, called innervates. Learn that one. Innervates. So a motor neuron, and I'm going to put here to help you a somatic motor neuron. We're going to see what that's about. And all the muscle fibers it supplies. A motor unit contracts in an all or none manner. If turned on, all the muscles will contract equally. If not turned on, none will contract. All right, let's look over here. A motor unit. Here's a somatic motor neuron. A motor neuron, somatic motor neurons innervate skeletal muscle, the ones we're talking about. Later we'll talk about the autonomic nervous system, but autonomic motor neurons innervate smooth muscle like in your bowel and bladder, cardiac muscle, and glands. So here's a somatic motor neuron, one neuron. Okay, somatic motor neuron. That's one cell. A neuron is one nerve cell. And you see it's going to several muscle fibers. Each of these are muscle cells. So this plus all the muscle cells it goes to is one motor unit. And when this innervates, all those it's going to is an all or none. Now notice this big muscle here. It's spaced out. So in other words, some are innervated by other motor units. So in other words, in one motor unit, there are several muscle fibers, but they are all through the muscle. So it's not like if you're dealing with your biceps, it's not like the lateral half gets one motor unit and the medial another one and so forth. It's all throughout. So when the motor unit contracts, you get some contraction of the whole muscle. All right. Here again is a look at it. Here's coming down, motor neuron and innervating. Here's two motor neurons. Here's one and here's another. Here's one, here's another, showing you that. All right. Let's go to another picture. Here's another picture. Here's coming out. Motor unit 1, motor unit 2. See how it's going to different muscle cells? All or none. Axons of motor neurons extend before the spinal cord all the way to here. Okay, so here's a picture again. All right, let's go further now. Study on this on your own. Motor units. Small motor units and muscles that control fine movements like your fingers and eyes. Large motor units and large weight bearing. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. Okay. Large motor units and small motor units. Large motor units and small motor units. Now, to explain this, I want you to look at this. You may want to get a piece of paper. I'm doing a hypothetical situation. A hypothetical. Now let's see if you can understand what I'm doing. Okay. Hopefully you're taking A and P and can understand this. Let's say that one muscle cell could lift a quarter pound, and that is definitely not true. It's nowhere close to lifting a quarter pound. But I'm just making it hypothetical for the math. Let's say that a large motor unit has 20 muscle cells. Since a motor unit contracts in an all or none manner, okay, this motor unit will lift 5 pounds, no more or no less. Okay? Why? Because a fourth of 20 is what? 5. So let's say a small motor unit has 4 muscle cells, which would be 1 pound lifted. Let's say an entire muscle has 10 motor units. So the maximum that muscle could lift is so the maximum that muscle could lift if it is made up of a large motor unit is 50 pounds. Small units, motor units, would have maxed out at 10 pounds. Okay, let's go a little further. Now, let me tell you what this means. I'm coming back here. If your eye muscles the minimum they could lift is 5 pounds, all or none, you'd be breaking your lids. If your fingers, let's say, could minimally lift 5, 10 pounds, whatever, you'd break the pencil. So small motor units allow fine control. If you need more strength, you'll do something called recruitment in a minute. Large motor units like the thighs and hips, you know you don't need no fine control on the thighs and hips. You just need doggone strength. What do you need? Strength. So you want large motor units. Even if you're dancing and a good dancer, you're still going to need strength. Okay? So try to see what I'm talking about here. All right, let's go further. So a motor unit, muscle fibers are spread throughout the muscle cell, as I alluded to, so that a single causes weak contraction of the entire muscle. Motor units in a muscle usually contract asynchronously, if they can. Now, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this. That means one will turn on, then another, but we're going to talk about that, okay? Let's go further. All right, I'm going to come over here. Now, we're going to come back to this here. Now we're going to talk, though, before we come back to that, on a muscle twitch. Now, what a muscle twitch is a single muscle contraction based upon a single stimulus. A single muscle contraction based upon a single stimulus. Let me say it again. A single muscle contraction based upon a single stimulus. Now, we record that on what we call a myogram. It's a machine. Now, the myogram, the machine is a physiograph. The recording is a myogram. The machine is a physiograph. But the recording is a myogram. Anytime you see the suffix gram, G-R-A-M, or graphy, like EKG, graphy, that means you're keeping a permanent recording. Say it again. Anytime you see this suffix, that means you're keeping a permanent recording. All right, let's see how you do this muscle contraction. Now, at the university level, when I was in college, but at the university level, because we deal with live organisms, this is what we would have done. Now, you listen to me well. We would have taken a frog and we would have pithed the frog. Pith means to break the spinal cord. Okay? Then we would go and get the gastrocnemius muscle, that muscle right there, out. We would take the gastrocnemius muscle and go to this machine here. Hook it here and the other end here. Then we would put a stimulus wire to it. Now this is what would happen. Since this is hooked here, when the muscle contracts, listen to me, when the muscle contracts, it would pull tension on these two entities here of the machine. That tension would be recorded. Here would be the stimulus, which is coming from a battery. Here's the wire, we're artificially stimulating it. Okay? This is the recording that you would get. Listen to me. This is the recording that you would get. All right. So let's say now, I just stimulate the muscle. Hear what I say? I just stimulate the muscle. So I'm stimulating the muscle right here at this time. See, this is time in milliseconds, and this is tension. This is time, and this is tension. I'm going to stimulate the muscle right at this time right here. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Notice you don't get any contraction for a while. Now, this is where you go back to the previous video when we did EC coupling. Remember, before a muscle can contract, you must send action potentials down the T tubules, release calcium, let it hit upon troponin C, go to the myosin, split the ATP, cock the head back. Think of all those events. Think of all those events. All those events are right here from the time you stimulate. You don't get nothing till you overcome those events. So the latent phase is the time it took to overcome those events. Then finally you start getting a mild contraction, then more and more as more troponin C is saturated by calcium. Then, since this was only one battery hit, one single stimulus, you'll get a contraction and then it will relax. So right here, this is what you're looking at. This is a muscle twitch curve. Latent phase, contraction, see, it's a brief period of contraction, and then relaxation, because we only hit it one time. So muscle twitch is a single stimulus. And this would be the myogram you're seeing right there. That's the myogram. Okay, so we go further. 3 phases. We already talked about the latent phase, the contraction, and the relaxation. Okay. Right here, again, seeing this particular same thing. Stimulus, time latent, then this, and then this. Okay. So again, we see that. Come here. Muscle twitch comparison. Different strength and duration of twitches are due to variation in metabolic and enzymes. Okay. What are we talking about there? Okay. Twitch time. Okay. When it comes to muscles, we have slow twitch muscles. We'll talk about a little later. And they respond, contract slow. But the contraction lasts longer. Let's come here now. Slow twitch, like this one here. Fast twitch, contract fast, but tire easily, like that. And then we got the intermediate type. Okay, now you say, what's important about this? The slow twitch muscles contract slow, but they last a long time. They don't run out of energy, shall I say, endurance. That's like your quads, your back muscles, soleus things. Biceps is kind of intermediate, but many will call it fast twitch. But if we're looking at this, it's kind of on an intermediate basis. Fast twitch would be like the eye muscles. They twitch fast because you need a fast motion, but you can't get much. They don't have much endurance. So that's what we call different twitch times. So all muscles don't have what? The same twitch time. Okay, we'll go a little further. Graded muscle responses. Okay, that's where now I'm going to start another video starting right here on graded muscle responses. Okay, thank you.